Network has everything you need to get up and go.
It's our anniversary.
Every weekday during the month of June, we're giving away gear from the KBLA store to say thank you for your support of KBLA Talk 1580 as we celebrate our second anniversary. Each weekday, a different host will be giving away fresh merch to one lucky caller. All you have to do is keep it locked to KBLA Talk 1580 throughout the day, and our host will tell you when to dial in and when. It's our way of showing appreciation to you for helping make KBLA Talk 1580 the most trusted, credible, and reliable source of information for listeners just like you. Here's hoping you'll be one of our lucky winners. But you can always head over to the KBLA store anytime for the best in KBLA Talk 1580 gear for yourself and great gift ideas. Now, celebrating 2 years of being your go-to, we're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
It's our anniversary.
For our summer songs, you know, songs that just feel like summer. This feels a little bit like summer to me as well.
Yeah, this is giving summer.
It is definitely giving summer. You are listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe live here in Leimert Park at KBLA Talk 1580. I am talking with my guest, Tiffany Mills, and Tiffany is almost ready to leave us for the evening.
Don't say it like that.
I'm not, because you're going to have more projects and you're going to come back. And I want the scoop. Our listeners want the scoop. Our VIPs, because that's what I call them. Yeah. They're the VIPs because they're getting all of this access and information. So Tiffany, I want you to tell everyone where they can find you, keep up with all of your projects and all of the good things that you have coming up.
Yes. Well, if you haven't already, please watch Gabrielle Union, Journey to 50 on BT Plus, streaming now. 2 episodes. It's a wonderful thing. Please watch it. And you can keep up with me and things that I have going on via Instagram, Mills Avenue Media, or at Mills Avenue Media. You can find me there. Or even at TMills037. That's a little more personal, but
they're getting the personal access.
Getting the personal
that is
sometimes.
Just because you were on RSVP.
That's
because,
the only reason why.
Any place else, you're not going to get that.
Yeah.
Because
and it'll probably be back private in like 2 weeks.
Right. And it's G14 classified. But if you can get in now, if you can get past the wall, I would suggest you do and slip in, because, first of all, Tiffany vacations well, she eats well, and she parties well. And you will see all of that on her social channels. I want to thank you for joining us this evening, Tiffany.
What an honor.
Been amazing. I mean, there's so much more I could have talked to you about, so many different things, but next time, because you absolutely will be back. Tell everybody one more time. You shout out the website, because they also can go to the website and learn more about you, more about the projects that you've been on, tap in with you that way as well.
That's right, millsavenuemedia.com. You can see some of the old stuff. There's some links there if you want to watch some throwback things I did, like Signed with Rick Ross and Lenny S. That was a great show. Or the Chrisleys. Oh, we didn't even talk about the Chrisleys.
We did not talk about the Chrisleys. Listen.
That's a whole episode.
I know that was really quick. I'm going to let you go. But just really, really quick, when you are faced with the subject of your show facing federal time, not just regular jail time, federal time, that probably has a big impact on how you move as a producer and how you plan.
I mean, I love that family. That's my family. I love them.
How many years did you work with them on that?
I did a season of that, just one season of that show.
It felt like it was much longer. I don't know why.
It felt like it was that much longer to me too. But then I stay involved. Like, I'm not one of those that moves on. So it's like I stay involved with who's ever producing the show, the stories that are going on, what's going on with the kids, talking to Todd every once in a while. Like, I stay involved. That's how I get into your family life. I can't just like stop, But yeah, prayers up for that family. They've definitely had an interesting last couple of years.
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah.
Well, Tiffany, thank you so much for joining
Thank
us.
you.
I appreciate you. I look forward to seeing all the things that you are working on.
Yes.
And of course, as my friend, I feel a personal sense of pride every time I see your name flash across the title cards on there
Yes.
because, I mean, that's so amazing. I know your start, I know your story, and I know your heart. So
Yes,
I
thank you so
appreciate
much.
you so much. Yay!
I love you so much. Congratulations
too.
on
Thank
everything.
you.
It's amazing.
So now, VIPs, we're going to talk a little bit about the NBA draft. I mean, it took place a couple of hours ago. We knew who was going number one. First of all, does that impact how you feel about the draft? Do you care? We already know that Victor, listen, I'm not going to jack his name up. I even wrote down the phonetic spelling because I believe that names are important and how your name is pronounced because it's your name. So it's Victor Wembanyama. Yama. Dang. I was close. Sorry. Ignore my profanity. You know, will beat me or something like that. I was close. I'm going to keep practicing. I really did write it out phonetically because, and now I think it's a thing when I sort of lean into the fact, like, I know I'm going to mess this up, so let me focus on it. I think my brain says, you are, you know, that instant manifestation. See? Instant manifestation. You know? That's why you got to speak positive to yourself. That's why you have to give yourself good thoughts. You can never let those negative thoughts come in because they will take over, as we just saw. Anyway, so that was boring because we know where he's going to go. We're waiting for Summer League to see him show out. We talked about that last night, him going to the Spurs. What we do have to discuss, though, is some of the fashion at the draft, okay? It was some interesting ensembles put together, looks, you know, the stylists were styling. They were very, very, very active. The third pick in the draft, Scoot Henderson, he's going to Portland. He's about to hook up with Dame Lillard. See, here I go. Maybe. Because Dame is kind of ready to move on. Scoot says that Dame should stay there. The two of them together is going to be incredible. I hesitate with that because is it really Portland? I don't know. But let's talk about Scoot's gear. He was blinged out. Scoot has a big family. He is the second youngest of 7. So he said that his sister said he inspired his grill. So they did something new with the draft this year where before they start the draft, they show what they feel will be the top maybe 10 or 15 picks that are going to go, and they show them and all of their family. So ladies, if you weren't there and you thought that your man, you know, was a draft pick or your potential and you weren't at the table with him, kind of don't know what to tell you because there were certain things set up. There's still hope for you, just not that immediate hope. But anyway, that's aside. And so they were showing the families, and Scoot's whole family, Scoot had the grill in, and everybody was like, we're going to show our grills. Can you imagine? They're from Georgia. So they have to represent. Scoot just completed his first movie. He was in Shooting Stars, a Peacock film that is based on LeBron James' high school team. He played Romeo Travis, and that was an interesting turn. Yeah, you know, basketball, yes. Acting, we'll see. Maybe later. We can always talk about it. So that happened. There also was a player that we absolutely have to mention. His name is Grady Dick. And announcers are going to have fun with that name this year. Grady went to Kansas, and he was rocking a sparkly, it looked like, it's not sequins because it was actually like crystals, you know? Like old school crystals and like mirrored reflective red. He said it was his version of Dorothy's ruby red slipper because Toto, we are not in Kansas anymore. As a matter of fact, Grady's not even going to be in the United States. He's going to be playing for the Toronto Raptors up there. We'll see what happens. I'm not really worried about the Raptors right now. Good luck to them. Congratulations on their draft pick. But there's a lot of things that took place in the draft. We're not going to talk about the obvious thing. You can get the breakdown as far as the players, who they played with, who they were drafted to, and sort of an analysis of how they fit. We're going to talk a little bit about their fashion. We're going to talk about the first that happened. So in the draft tonight, not only were 2 twin brothers picked back to back for the first time, they also are from an unconventional program. They are graduates of Overtime Elite, which is a program that is, how would I explain it? It's not it's not an AAU team, because we know that is off, out of your regularly scheduled high school inter-school matchups or whatever. AAU teams come together, they form super teams, kids run all year. So Overtime Elite is for kids that don't want to go to the G League per se, want to get some social media experience with their team and still retain their value. The NIL really set the stage for this. Overtime Elite actually kind of derived, if you think about it, not exactly from an idea that LeVar Ball had. LeVar is the father of Melo and Zoe Ball, who Melo is with Charlotte still, yes, and Zoe is with Chicago. We don't know what's going to happen to him. He's recovering from a foot injury. But he came up with the concept of a league for players that didn't want to go to college, were in high school, were really good, but had some social status and didn't want to go to the typical high school. Everybody kind of laughed at LeVar. He did that. He took Melo all around before he was drafted, and he showed him off that way. It was a different way to present an athlete as far as the teams and what was going on. So Overtime Elite took that concept, moved it to Georgia, flipped it because obviously they have a bigger budget. And here we are now with players being drafted. Two twin brothers, back-to-back, the Thompson twins. It's the first time twins have been drafted since the Morris twins, I think in 2011, 2012. So shout out to them. They say that they're not going to miss each other. They've pretty much been around as twins, obviously, and as brothers. But they've, socially lived together, same school, same state, all of their life. And now, for the first time, they are going to be living separate lives at their respective NBA teams. One of them is going to Detroit. I believe that's not which one is going to Detroit? The one that went second. I have to look it up because I don't want to mix it up. But they're going to be separate. It's always sad when you look at these great players and you think you're going to a really, really terrible team. But so what? You're in the NBA. You hit the lottery in one day. There are also some trades that went down today. Chris Paul was traded from the Phoenix Suns to the Washington Wizards the other day for Bradley Beal and some pieces. Now Chris Paul was just traded to the Golden State Warriors. And we don't think the Warriors are going to waive him. We think that he's going to be there to back up Steph with the Splash Brothers, and they're going to make that one last title run. You want to know who is the loser in all of this? The person that really tricked off his whole superstar status? Jordan Poole. Because clearly, with the move that the Golden State Warriors made, they are saying, hey, Draymond, we want to run it back with you one more time. Jordan Poole, thank you for your service. We will see you next time. I have never seen someone kind of play themselves so quickly once they got the money. I mean, we see it all the time, kind of, sort of, but he was feeling himself in a way that was detrimental to the team. And the fight between Draymond, well, was it really a fight? Can we really call it a fight? Let's just call it what it was, a punch. Draymond knocked Jordan out, and it divided the team. And we obviously saw the impact of that this season. And now Jordan is with the Wizards. The Wizards are rebuilding. He has a ring, though, and he has his bread. So hopefully that is enough. When we come forward, we'll get into more of the stories from the draft, more trade information, and also we want you to hit that line, hit the power lines, 800-920-1580. If you're the second caller right now, you win a KBLA Talk 1580 swag bag. It's our gift to you as we celebrate our second anniversary here at KBLA Talk 1580. Congratulations to caller number 2 right now from your friends at KBLA Talk 1580.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Something new is happening in California's public schools.
They're called community schools.
One of the foundations of community schools is shared decision-making,
where parents and families, students and educators make decisions as one.
Community schools lift the voices of
folks that have traditionally been underserved.
Many of our classes are designed around our own students' cultures, their background, their personal experiences.
We bring culturally relevant curriculum to the classroom based on what their specific needs are.
Improving student achievement and innovative classes like cybersecurity and gardening.
And we assist families with their needs.
Some schools have parent education programs, cooking and nutrition classes.
Everything from medical or dental services to immigration law services.
This is a one-stop shop that serves the needs of not just the students, but their families as well.
They're California's community schools, reimagining public education. Paid for by the California Teachers Association.
I switched to Boost Mobile and got a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone. Want to know the best part?
It was free?
Nope.
The fact that it's on America's largest 5G networks?
Nope. It's the ding.
Oh yeah, love the ding.
Right? It's all about the ding. It's the dingarooski, the dingarone, the ring-a-ding-ding.
Unleash your power to save with Boost. Get a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone when you switch. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power.
And the ding.
Limited time offer. New customers only. Available on select networks. 5G not available everywhere. One device per line. Tax excluded. Additional restrictions apply. See your local Boost Mobile store for details.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about. KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action is the youth component of the impactful CBO, known as the Community Coalition. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action has chapters at almost every South LA high school. Say Yeah, as they are popularly known, is located at 80th and Vermont, but serves young people all over South LA. Under the COCO umbrella, they train youth organizers, help underserved scholars prepare for college, and work with students to help them gain admission to top universities. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action fosters teen activism, where young people have led campaigns moving tens of millions of dollars to South LA schools and forcing officials to make AP classes available to students in under-resourced institutions. SCEL scholars have taken part in the March on Washington, been published in major news outlets, and been elected to city council. Long before she was mayor, Karen Bass started the program when she founded the Community Coalition. To donate, volunteer, or enroll a student in South Central Youth Empowered Through Action, please visit cocsouthla.org. cocsouthla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, it's Jill Munroe. You are checking out RSVP with Jill Munroe, me, on KBLA Talk 1580. We have a winner of the KBLA swag bag giveaway. Our winner is Jerry with a G. And Jerry, you are going to get some special things courtesy of Mr. Tavis Smiley and KBLA. We are so excited. So thank you for calling in. Thank you for checking out RSVP. I really appreciate it. Now, let's get back to this draft talk. So a lot happened. I know that sports fans in particular think that, listen, my team, I'm sorry, someone last night said that I shouldn't say my team. Kwamel, yeah, so let me shout out Kwamel. I'm still going to say my team, but I want to acknowledge that I recognize that's not your favorite. But anyway, when you're looking at your team and you're looking at their needs and what happens, the draft opens up all the possibilities. You're thinking about everything that can be wonderful. Everybody is a contender for the title. We know that's not realistic, but that's where everybody feels the good feelings are flowing and all of that. But we also know that with the draft comes a lot of money and a change in lifestyle. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I don't know if I mentioned it, but a few years back, I wrote a book, Post Game Pass, Access to the Life, and the life being the lifestyle of professional athletes. So I get into the things that athletes have to look out for, what makes a superstar athlete, because believe it or not, there are 4 things, according to me, and you're listening to RSVP, so what I say goes, right? Make you a superstar athlete. Some of them involve on the court stuff. Others are off the court things. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But I want to circle back to some headlines. I don't know if you saw it in the news, but an NBA great And when I say great, I'm not talking Hall of Famer, that type of Hall of Fame. I'm not even talking about like your number one starter. I'm talking about a six man that has a reputation and a situation that is iconic. Lou Williams is putting it down and retiring from the NBA. And you know, Lou Williams was one of the first players to win the Six Man of the Year award with different teams. So he won it with the Toronto Raptors. I believe he also won it with the Los Angeles Clippers. Did he win it 3 times? Not sure. I know those 2 times. Just 2, Andy? Just 2? Fact check me on that. I'm not sure if it's 2 or 3. I know that there was one year he was heavily in contention. Maybe I thought he won that year, but he lost. But also, one of the big things about Lou Williams is, you know, and he doesn't like to talk about, he did win 3 times. Okay. I thought I was correct. I wasn't tripping with that. So I believe that he was the first to do that. And so, you know, he's putting his player hat down in more ways than one. Lou Will became a fixture sort of in the hip-hop community, aspirationally so, because at one point in time he had 2 girlfriends. Drake even rapped about it in his song. This is when he was in Toronto, and they had an understanding, and they said that the rest of the world did not really understand, and we probably didn't, because hey, we're not in that relationship, where we weren't in that relationship, what was going on and how it came to be. And of course, there are a lot of people on both sides, positive and negative. You know, there are a lot of men that were like, high five to you. How'd you get him to do it? How did you work that situation out? There were some that were like 2 headaches, 1 person. Why are you doing that? Cheat respectfully. And then there were some that were just like, where's the dignity of the women? We're not going to get into all of that. But what we will say is what Lou did on the court as far as the 6-man role is something that could be mirrored and should be mirrored. He understood his role. He respected the bench. And even though people may not think of it as such, there are leaders on that bench. You can lead from the front of the bench, you can lead from the back of the bench, or you can be in the middle too. There's all different ways that you can express leadership in these situations. So shout out to Lou Will, a real life NBA legend. Not the conventional way, but in a way that is important to us and important to the culture. And after all, that's just as important, right? Right. So next up, we have to talk a little bit about Deion Sanders. Now, if you don't know, Coach Prime is having some health issues right now. We have to shout him out and keep him lifted in prayer. The Colorado head coach is having emergency surgery for a blood clot in his groin. That is just one of the things that he has been dealing with. It comes after a doctor recently said that he might lose his whole foot due to medical complications that started with his big toe. We know that Deion, this was his first season at Colorado after spending 2 years at Jackson State, putting that program back on the map. We won't say he put it on the map, but he definitely helped to raise their profile and set a culture that they will likely continue to move in going forward, as far as a sense of pride, a sense of winning, and a sense of work ethic that he put in. And he's doing the same in Colorado, but he might lose his foot. So take care of your health. Make sure that you are going to the doctor, following up, because it's not something necessarily that Deion could have prevented, but he did mention that if he had been a little more proactive, maybe it wouldn't have gotten to the degrees that he did. So shout out to him. We want to, again, lift him up in prayer and send good thoughts and vibes to him. All right, let's circle back to the NBA draft. One thing that has been apparent in the NBA and the NFL, but really the NBA over the past few years, and it's a word I mentioned earlier when we were talking to Tiffany Mills, is nepotism. There are a lot of children of former NBA players that are in the league. If you look at it, some of the top players, obviously Steph and Clay over there in Golden State, they are the sons of former NBA players. It's a lot happening, and we see it more frequently than we ever have as far as the league. Tonight in the draft, we saw legacy player Jet Howard from, is it the University of Michigan? Because Magic Johnson went to Michigan State. The Fab Five was at the University of Michigan, okay? Let me make sure that I am speaking on that correctly. Both are legendary, iconic for different reasons, but they don't like each other, so we don't want to mix those up. But Jett Howard, he is the son of former NBA player and head coach at Michigan, Juwan Howard. Now, Juwan was a part of the Fab Five along with Chris Webber and Jalen Rose and the other two that nobody talks about. No, I'm just playing. I'm just being funny. No disrespect meant. You guys are all icons. The black socks, the long shorts. We have commercials about that now on the Fab Five's influence right now with Chris Paul, one of those State Farm commercials. So, just a little jokey joke. But Juwan has, he won a ring with the Miami Heat I think that was 2006 it was with the Miami Heat when they had that finals when Dwayne Wade led the way and Shaq. So he was there. He came in, I think maybe a year or two before that team. They had the motto 15 strong. It is one of the examples of Heat culture that people talk about. And so Juwan was kind of on the end of his career when he got there. And Juwan's wife, Janine, who's Jett's mother, talked about Jett being a little kid and running around the hallways of the Miami Heat locker room and practice facility, growing up in the shadow of all that greatness. She even posted a picture to his Instagram because, shout out to Janine. I've followed Janine for years. We exchange light banter on Instagram and Twitter. Really like her. Her fashion sense is A1. But she posted a picture of Jett from back in the day, and guess what jersey he had on in his baby picture? Just go and guess. Guess. I know you're at home guessing. He had on an Orlando Magic jersey, and of course that is where he is drafted, where he's going to start his NBA career, and it's only fitting it is in the state where his father ended his career. And like I said, I think that nepotism in sports is a good thing. It's our time. Why not? We see it in so many other areas. If the child is good enough, then they should get that little extra bump. I'm not talking about anything too unfair, nothing that they don't necessarily deserve, but I do think that the higher profile, the added attention is okay because their parents set the stage and they are just continuing in that. Somebody that's going to be a benefit of that revealed that their number for their college career starting next year. We are going to talk about that when we come forward, just giving you a little tease of that. We are also going to talk about more about our white boys in the draft. It's such an interesting thing, the amount of flavor dripping off of the white guys. Looks a little different than some of the guys in the NFL. Not all of them, because some of them too. But I want to get your thoughts, if you have any, on the culture switch that is happening. And do you think that the reason why so many of our white players are now iced out, drip down grill, because they are, I won't say conforming, but, they are adapting to their environment where they are the minority in this case. We're going to talk about all of that when we come forward. We are also going to get into my rules for the lifestyle for a new professional athlete, because there are definitely some rules of engagement that you have to abide by. You are checking out RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
If we could kiss and just cut the rubbish, then I might be on to something. I ain't giving you one in public, I'm giving you hundreds. Come get it, something we just gotta get into. Sang first, middle, last on the wisdom tooth, and they wishing that the cookie was a kissing booth.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Julius White. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The father and the aunt of New York Congressman George Santos have been revealed as the ones who secured his $500,000 bail. Santos was arrested in May on charges of wire fraud, money laundering, and theft of public funds. Well, the state of Maryland is taking the steps to help students address learning losses brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. The State Department of Education announced it's joining the National Partnership for Student Success following President Biden's call for more tutors to support students in their academic recovery. And a high school volleyball player from Tennessee who lost her legs after a car hit her in downtown St. Louis, Missouri, has filed a lawsuit against the city. The crash highlighted what was seen as negligence by the city's former chief prosecutor for not keeping the driver of a stolen car in jail. I'm Julius White on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
When your ride fires on all cylinders, so do you. That's why Napa is on a mission to keep you in motion. With nearly 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores and over 17,000 Napa Auto Care centers, the Napa Network has everything you need to get up and go.
It's our anniversary.
Every weekday during the month of June, we're giving away gear from the KBLA.store to say thank you for your support of KBLA Talk 1580 as we celebrate our second anniversary. Each weekday, a different host will be giving away fresh merch to one lucky caller. All you have to do is keep it locked to KBLA Talk 1580 throughout the day, and our host will tell you when to dial in and when. It's our way of showing appreciation to you for helping make KBLA Talk 1580 the most trusted, credible, and reliable source of information for listeners just like you. Here's hoping you'll be one of our lucky winners. But you can always head over to the KBLA.store anytime for the best in KBLA Talk 1580 gear for yourself and great gift ideas. Now, celebrating 2 years of being your go-to, we're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
You're listening to K-Drip, where we play all the best classic water-wasting hits like watering your lawn during the hottest time of the day and leaky faucets. They're tunes from another time because now that we face a hotter, drier future, every drop counts. Despite an extremely wet winter, keep using less water, fixing leaks, and reusing indoor water for your garden. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more ways to conserve. Up next, brushing your teeth with the water on. K-Drip.
If you're a business owner or lead a nonprofit that's between 26 and 49 employees, please listen. Lendistry is proud to announce a new program whereby small businesses and nonprofits may qualify for reimbursement of COVID sick leave expenses incurred in 2021 or 2022. This program is administered by the California Office of the Small Business Advocate. Eligibility criteria apply and funding is limited. For more information, visit COVIDPaidSick.com. If you're a business owner or lead a nonprofit that has between 26 and 49 employees, please listen. Lendistry is proud to announce a new program whereby small businesses and nonprofits may qualify for reimbursement of COVID sick leave expenses incurred in 2021 or 2022. This program is administered by the California Office of the Small Business Advocate. For more information, visit COVIDPaidSick.com.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect. Support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase. Make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
KBLA Talk 1580 stands for Unity and Healing. African Focus Incorporated is a nonprofit organization based in California that focuses on the growth and well-being of Africans all around the world. Their mission is to promote the well-being of people of African descent through knowledge and appreciation of one another by building a bridge of love and understanding. African Focus Incorporated strives for cultural, educational, and economic growth. They're the organization behind the African Family Induction Ceremony, African Goodwill Awards, African Focus Trailblazer Tours, African Dance Competition, and Showcase Los Angeles, Family Day, Good News Windows Microfinance Project, and more. To volunteer, travel with African Focus, or to attend one of their community building events, please call 310-676-7730. That's 310-676-7300. Or visit AfricanFocus.org. This is a diaspora-wide community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetic unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
All right, y'all. We ain't got to ask nobody. Yeah.
Okay, Andy, warming me up with some New Edition. You know, anytime you want to play New Edition, make sure you do that because it's always a good time for any. Hit Me Off. I think this was, 97? This was on the Home Again album. 96. Okay. I was close. But I definitely was vibing to this. I remember the video. They were all super agents, you know, having different detective setups and such. Bobby was doing stunts and things like that, rolling around on the ground. It was a time. Boy, the 90s were a time. That tour I heard was a little wild, but, you know. I mean, New Edition technically still has groupies. Their groupies are like probably almost 60. I heard that, you know, on the Legacy tour that just ended, was New Edition, Guy, Keith Sweat, and Tank opened the show for them. That every night after the show, the lobbies would still be filled with women looking to, let's say, bring forth their teenage dreams. At a later date, you know, they were hanging out like it was 1985 and they were about to get it popping. That's what I heard. That was what I heard. Yes.
You're going to rank your New Edition members.
Rank them.
Rank them.
As far as, well, okay. Let me start off with, I'm a Taurus. The lead singer of the group is a Taurus, Ralph Tresvant, May 16th. Ralph got to be number 1, right? Number 2 is Bobby, the king of R&B, the Kang.
Now, are you putting Ralph over Bobby simply because he's a Taurus?
Simply because my 10-year-old heart says that is where Ralph Tresvant needs to be. Okay, that's it. That's all it has to do with. That is what my 10-year-old heart said. You know, Bobby second, the Kang, you know, coming through with the kick and the performance. You know, Bobby's moving a little slower now, but it's still the energy. It's still the vibe. I'm happy to see Bobby there, seeing all 6 of them rocking out together. You know, it's a time. So after that, this is going to sound weird, but, well, so part of me wants to roll BBD up into 1.
You're not the only one.
But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to them. I am going to respect. You know, I'm going to respect because honestly, and this is interesting for me, Ronnie, to me, has actually aged the best. I think that he looks amazing at, I guess he's going to be 55, or he is 55 right now. So he looks great. No wrinkles, clear skin, healthy weight. Yeah. And their performances, Ronnie is bop, 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 precision. That Brooke Payne training still coming through, still showing all of those skills off. So, you know, that's what I'm going to do. And then it would be Michael Bivins. And then it would be Ricky. And then it would be Johnny. And that doesn't mean I don't love you all. I'm going to tell you why. You know why Johnny's last.
I don't know. I'm surprised. There's folks that got Johnny as their number 1 or 2.
No. How can Johnny be number 1 or number 2?
When he wasn't the original?
Exactly. And I love Johnny Gill. I'm talking perfect combination. I was right there singing it, you know, with the hairbrush, thinking I was Stacey Lattisaw. Couldn't hit those highs. Definitely couldn't make those lows. But I was a fan before he joined New Edition. I respected. I liked the solo stuff he put out. LSG was my jam. They had bops, but he wasn't an OG.
Were you against it? Were you against his addition to the group?
No, because if we're being honest, the All For You album, which was the album after Cool It Now, it had Count Me Out on there and a couple other things, and it was really only the 4 of them on there. People don't really talk about that album, and for good reason, because, yeah, Keep that moving. I actually think Bobby's vocals were really on there. He had recorded some stuff, but, he moved around. We know what happened with that. But, yeah, so I wasn't mad at it. Aesthetically, they look better with 5 or with 6, so it worked for me in that regard. And Johnny could sing, and he sounded great on the tracks, but he can't be in the top 5 because he's not an OG. That's just me. So I don't know if you are in the chat or feeling frisky on the phone lines and you have an opinion about New Edition and who the order should be, ranking order, go ahead and call us up, 800-920-1580. Hit us on the socials, KBLA 1580. We like that type of conversation. It's important. New Edition is about the culture. 40 years in this industry, and if you ask me, and you didn't, but I'm going to share this anyway, I think New Edition is the greatest R&B group ever. And I know that there are a lot of other groups that could take that title, but one, I specifically said group because there are a lot of bands that you could slot in there. But the reason why I say that is, what other group has had as much individual success as New Edition, and then collectively come back together, deal with all the drama, and still put it down like they do? Nobody. They set the standard. They set the stage. Look at all the K-pop groups. Who do you think they're really trying to be? Andy, you look like you got something to say.
Nah, I'm kind of taken aback by it, but, I mean, you made a strong point with regards to the group having individual success and them coming back together as a group and still having success. Because once you made that comment, I initially thought of, what about Boyz II Men? What about Jodeci? But individually, they never really branched out. Like Boyz II Men, they never really branched out. I mean, if you want to say that Casey and JoJo branched out, you can. And I know, was it Devontae or Dalvin that was a producer?
Devontae.
Devontae was a producer.
Yeah.
And
Dalvin was kind of a producer.
Yeah. But, I mean, you make a strong point. Individual success. I mean, group success, individual success, coming back together as a group, still touring, all that jazz.
Who else did it? And all of the drama that we all saw play out in the New Edition movie, we know that they had struggles. We know it wasn't all great. So, yeah, that is my vote for the greatest group. Really quickly, I want to circle back to the Deion Sanders story just for clarity's sake. So Deion is having the blood clot removed to prevent him having to get his whole foot amputated. He's had 2 toes amputated. He wasn't having any feeling on the bottom of his foot because of circulation issues. And an ultrasound revealed that there was previous opened arteries that had closed, so he needed to take care of that. So once again, we wish the best for Deion. He is a treasure for us. What Prime did, obviously, in the leagues, you got to put that S on there, because being a 2-sport athlete professionally, only him and Bo Jackson. There's no one else. It hasn't been done since. And obviously, we always give Deion his flowers, but being that 2-sport athlete, being probably one of the first rapper athletes, Must Be the Money is a classic, and I don't care what you say. I will play it any day, anytime. I'll look at the video. Deion and his curl come through. Prime set the stage. He set that up for a lot of what we see today. So just wanted to make sure we were clear on that. Now, I mentioned nepotism and a certain young athlete who we believe is benefiting or will in some way from nepotism. That's not to take away and say that he doesn't have talent in his own right and isn't an athlete that can reach the highest heights potentially. But we now know what number Bronny James will be wearing at USC this fall. And as expected, no, Andy, you were wrong. He's not wearing 23. He's wearing number 6. He is following in the footsteps of his father, the second move. And once again, I mean, his name is LeBron James Jr., so it's like, why not? Why not follow what dad has set up to me? I kind of think that, well, I don't think that Bronny will be staying in a dorm, but if he is, he might have an off-campus apartment. How often do you think Bron is going to roll through to chill with the guys? Not really in a major way, but I think once or twice, Bron is going to encroach on Bronny's space because he didn't have the college experience. And one thing that is apparent about LeBron James is that he values the brotherhood that comes with teammates through basketball. I mentioned the Shooting Stars movie with Peacock on streaming on Peacock right now. That is all about that team and how they bonded together from 10 years old through 12th grade, living together at certain points, encouraging each other and pushing each other. If you look at LeBron James' style with his teammates, whereas Kobe, Jordan, they're individualized players, there's assassins, they're very strategic. LeBron is a group guy, more in the vein of a Magic Johnson, where he wants everybody to come together and he's going to be the facilitator, the one in the middle to bring the fun. So that is kind of what I think the difference in their approaches are, and that is why I think that LeBron, you're going to see nothing salacious because we know LeBron doesn't do that. But I definitely think you're going to see LeBron a time or two enjoying campus life with his son. I mean, he wants them to play in the league together. So you think he's not going to, invade on his college space a little bit with love, but just sharing that a little bit. What is the point in being a young parent, a rich parent, a parent that is connected if you can't share that with your child? So that's what I think about that. Rock out, Bronny. I am sort of surprised, though, that he didn't pick his own number completely away from his dad. I mean, I did notice that he has the 9 tattoos down the back of his neck. Maybe those are inverted 6s, but he didn't want it to look suspicious because, we as black people, we don't play that 666 stuff. That we don't care if it's cute. We don't care if it's trendy. Put that away. Put it someplace else. Maybe do 2, maybe do 4, but that 3, that means something else. When we come forward, we're going to continue talking about the NBA draft and our sports bits. We're on our sports beat right now. I will give some tips to the young draft picks, in my opinion, about what they need to do to prepare for their new life. And we'll also get into a couple of other trending topics that we didn't get to earlier. This is Jill Munroe. You are checking out KBLA Talk 1580, RSVP with me. And before we go to break, why don't you call in? We'd love to talk to you. I know you have some commentary. I know you have something to share. So 800-920-1580. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
Despite pushback from franchise owners, the Assembly passes fast food workers bill. Maisha Cairo here with your K-Black Minute News, brought to you by CaliforniaBlackMedia.org. Assembly Bill 1228, known as the Fast Food Franchisor Responsibility Act, authored by Assembly member Chris Holden, was passed off the Assembly floor with 42 votes in favor of the legislation, while 22 members of the Assembly voted against the bill. Some reasons Holden and supporters of this bill find it necessary is due to the reported wage theft of fast food workers, claims of violence at work, sexual harassment and assault claims, denied sick days, intense heat, poor workplace safety practices, as well as claims of retaliation for speaking out. Holden was reported saying, quote, "This does not imply that all fast food franchises mistreat their workers. It's clear that we must ensure our fast food workers are able to thrive in their workplace and their communities," end quote.
Are you a small or micro business owner looking for ways to succeed after the pandemic? LA County has got you covered. Gain access to economic opportunity grants and technical assistance to help your business thrive. Whether you need mentorship or capital investment programs, they're here to help. Find out if you qualify at recovery.lacounty.gov/programs. That's recovery.lacounty.gov/programs. LA County and you, moving forward together.
Your health is important, so keep yourself and your family covered with Medi-Cal. Medi-Cal renewals will be happening soon, so if you have Medi-Cal, make sure you don't miss any important renewal information. If you've moved in the last 3 years, check and update your mailing address, email address, and phone number. Learn more at keepmedicalcoverage.org. That's keepmedicalcoverage.org. Paid for by the California Department of Healthcare Services.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, and downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
Hey, VIPs, that is my name for you because why? You are getting all access here on RSVP with Jill Munroe, and you're special. You are the ones. You are important, and because you are here. You are here for purpose. This is appointment listening, right? It's appointment viewing if you're checking us out on YouTube, but it's appointment listening if you're on the app or any place else. And I know you have good taste. And people with good taste are always VIP. That's why you're here. It's what's most important. We're going to be rolling out some more segments as the weeks go along and getting you guys more comfortable with me. I want you, if you have any questions, comments, make sure you're hitting us up in the chat. You can hit up the phone lines. Let me remind you of that number one more time, 800-920-1580. Our socials, KBLA 1580. Make sure you're following us all there. Have you downloaded the app? Because you can take us with you. And not only that, on the app, you can leave a message, a secret message. It doesn't have to be public where everyone can see it. You can not only leave one for me, you can leave one for any of the hosts here at the station. And it's private, you know. You don't have to share it with everybody. And you can give your feedback that way. So there's many, many ways for you to reach out, stay tapped in with us here. But we're going to keep this party going right now. Oh, Terry, what did you say? Terry said that Bobby had the most charisma and he was a good dancer. I agree with you that. Johnny had the best singing voice to be so young. Johnny had a very mature singing voice. Best, I think it depends on the song because Johnny's voice would not have been as effective if we heard it per se all the way through on Can You Stand the Rain. I think one of the beautiful things about that song is the range of voices as you go from Ralph to Ricky to Johnny in there and kind of get those different plays on each other. It shows kind of emotion. It gives you different feelings, different personality types all in one song. Hey, Giandra, thank you for tapping in. I appreciate you all in the chat. Let's see who else is in there. Eddie Williams, shout out to you. You have the Temptations ahead of New Edition. Eddie, why don't you share with us in the chat, or better yet, call in. We'd love for you to call in and explain yourself. No, I'm not saying you don't have to explain yourself. Everyone is entitled to their opinions. Everyone is right in the room with this situation. I'm just righter. Just kidding. That is just my thoughts on it. But New Edition, come on, realistically, 40 years in the game, 1982, they came out. So this is 2023 at this point. How many platinum albums do we have spread across? You guys know that when you really, really think about it, you get down to choreography, who's stepping like New Edition, in sync, in unison still. And on the good nights when Bobby is together and ready, he's rocking that thing too. Nobody. Oh, Mimi came back before she went to sleep. She said, I had something to say about Ralph, Johnny, Bobby, and then the rest. So that's her order. Jerry Anderson. Jerry won the swag bag. Shout out to you. So Jerry is shouting out Bobby Brown. He said, I forgive for not remembering the names of the others in the Fab Five. Oh, he forgives me for not remembering the names of the others in the Fab Five. It was put in the chat. Ray King and Jimmy. What is Jimmy's last name? Jimmy King. Okay, so I said it backwards. Ray Jackson and Jimmy King. That's what it is, right? Okay, so there we are right there. But shout out to them. I was just, being a little funny. But realistically, when's the last time? What are they up to? What are their jobs right now? What kind of positions are they holding? You don't know. But you know where Jalen is, you know where Juwan is, and you know where Chris is. So they were effective for that time period. That time has passed, but we still respect what they did. Jerry also says that Johnny Gill is tops in the industry. A1, all of New Edition is. Listen, they are my favorites. They set the standard for me. I was in high pursuit of New Edition. I just knew that I would marry somebody in New Edition or something. Never even came close, but it was a thought, That's what it was.
New Edition got some male groupies too, though.
Do they really?
Surprisingly.
I mean, well, you think about the era when New Edition came out, right? They came out in the 80s. During that time period, there weren't a lot of kids groups that were around. So who were the guys mimicking? They had Prince, they had Michael. Rap was just starting to come up. The rappers were, although if some of the rappers from the late 70s, 80s in their, little tiger suits with their bunny ears hanging off of them and their vests, if they came out now, they would match perfectly for fashion. But at the time, coming off the disco era, some of the guys on the block didn't quite know what to make of some of those fashion choices. So there weren't really that many choices for young men to sort of aspire to as far as groups and, that type of thing. There are actors, but if you were a musical guy, you only had a few choices. And Prince and Michael were kind of the same but different. And there were only certain type of guys that were ready to go into that lane. They had to be very confident in themselves. They had to be very confident in their look. They had to be very confident in what their hair was going to do. So that is that. So I think that is why New Edition has a lot of male groupies, because they grew up looking at them too. And they grew up looking at the girls that they liked, loving New Edition. So, they took that on. That was the era too, much like I think of the 50s and 60s. I think in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, everybody thought that they were going to be in a group. Every guy thought that they were going to put together them and their three homies and be in a boy band. And exactly, Andy, that was my next point. Where are the groups at? They don't exist anymore. And one of the benefits to having a group dynamic is that it's something for everybody. Every girl has a personality type. You like the bad boy with an edge, he's right there. You like the shy guy next door, he's right there. You like the guy that's slightly artsy, maybe weird, he's right there. So everybody enjoys it. Everybody can pick their type and everybody feels fulfilled, That is why groups work, because nobody feels left out. You can give them a little bit of everything. I'm really surprised that no one has tried another male group thing. And typically, male groups last a little longer than female groups because, usually some man comes in and interfere with all of those type of things. But I digress. You are listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe. When we come forward, we're going to get into those rules that I've been talking about that I have for the athletes. The new draftees, because we got to take care of our young men. They're going led astray. They're, doing things that are off the wall crazy. We are also going to talk about the last of our trending topics. And I'm still waiting for you guys in the chat I see some people are sharing with me, but share with me what your theme music would be. I still want to know that. If you have a theme song, a song that you want to hear played when you are walking in the room or when you're walking down the street and you are having a I'm him or I'm her moment, this is the song that needs to be played. I want you to share that with me. Connect. Maybe I'll adopt yours and I'll share mine with you as well when we come forward. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Julius White. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network.